Let's begin with the latest from Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the country's forces are fighting Russian forces in the east and south. Zelensky also spoke about post-war recovery. He said rebuilding Ukraine is a means of protection against any repetition of Russian aggression. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni met French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris. Meloni said Italy and France will continue supporting Ukraine in the ongoing war. She highlighted that the air defense system on which the two countries have been working on is now operational on the battlefield. US President Joe Biden has referred to Chinese President Xi Jinping as a dictator. Biden made the statement in reference to the Chinese balloon spotted over the US airspace earlier this year. Biden said the reason why Xi got upset when US shot the balloon is because he did not know it was there. Biden made the comment after US Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Beijing, met Xi and other top Chinese leaders. The aim of the trip was to mend soaring ties between US and China. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in New York. He was welcomed by a huge group of Indian expats. Members of the Indian diaspora gathered outside Modi's hotel to cheer for him. PM Modi is the third global leader to be invited for a state visit by US President Joe Biden. Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi has said that his country will not beg in nuclear deal talks. During an interview with a local publication, Raisi said that Iran is pursuing talks with honor, wisdom and good intentions. He described the US and Israel as enemies but added that he does not see the same in Saudi Arabia as well. The US is holding talks with Iran with an aim to limit the country's nuclear program. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has responded to a recent shooting in the West Bank. He said that Israel would settle the score. In the latest shooting, 4 people were killed near an Israeli settlement in West Bank. The Hamas militant group claimed responsibility for it. The group said that the shooting was a response to Israeli raid in the city of Jenin. A riot broke out in a women's prison in the Central American nation of Honduras. At least 41 people have been killed. Authorities say that some people have died due to burns while others have been shot. Authorities also say that a brawl broke out between the members of rival gangs. Thousands of people marched across some of the major cities in Colombia. This was an anti-government demonstration held to protest against the economic and social reforms introduced by President Gustavo Petro. Petro is pushing the Congress for labor, health and pension overhaul. However, opposition leaders say that the proposals could negatively impact Colombia's finances. Search and rescue operation for the missing submarine that went to explore Titanic wreckage continues. The submarine has been missing for 3 days in the Atlantic Ocean. It had 5 people on board, including a billionaire from the UK. Experts say that the vessel has less than 30 hours of oxygen left. The rescue teams are facing logistical challenges in their operation. Spanish Coast Guards have intercepted a dinghy carrying over 63 migrants. The vessel was traveling southeast of the Spanish island of Gran Canaria in the Atlantic Ocean. Arrival of migrants in the Canary Islands has increased in the past week over favorable weather at sea. Almost 6,000 people have reached the Canary Islands from January to June this year. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban has urged Siberian authorities to release 3 Kosovo police personnel who were arrested last week. The arrest was made from the border area between the two countries. Orban said that he found it unacceptable that the international community accepted Kosovo's local elections held in April as legitimate. It drew less than 4% of the voters. A Canadian Air Force helicopter crashed into the Ottawa River on Tuesday. 2 members of the armed forces were killed in the incident. Other 2 on board have been hospitalized. This was a Royal Canadian Air Force CH-147 Chinook helicopter. It crashed near a military base. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that the crash is being investigated. A fire broke out in the basement of a hotel in South Korea's Busan. About 170 people were rescued from the area. Some of the hotel guests were rescued by helicopters. The cause of the fire is not known as yet. The United Nations has adopted the world's first treaty to protect marine biodiversity. The UN has marked this milestone after 20 years of effort. This follows an agreement reached in March this year. Under the agreement, over 100 countries pledged to protect the high seas. The agreement was reached after years of discussions and negotiations. A new drone footage shows the devastating aftermath of the Mississippi tornado. The footage shows flattened trees and homes in Jasper County. At least 4 people have been killed in the twisters. Subsequent flooding also forced 150 people out of their homes. Hailstorms and strong winds swept through a small village in France. The region's mayor said that about 80 to 90% of the buildings have been damaged. Over 2,000 homes have lost power connection due to the storms. A group of 20 climate activists, including Greta Thunberg, have staged protests. This was outside an entrance to the oil port in the Swedish city of Malmö. They have been protesting against the fossil fuels industry for 6 days. The activists carried out the blockade to prevent the transport of fossil fuels products to the port. Meteorologists are monitoring record-breaking marine heat waves in some locations of the UK and Ireland coastlines. Experts say the sea temperatures are around 4 or 5 degrees Celsius warmer than usual. This is due to multiple factors including climate change. They say heat waves could be damaging to wildlife. The head of the International Monetary Fund has said that poor countries hit by climate disaster must not be forced to struggle with debt payments. She said this during a global summit on climate finance. Kristalina Georgieva added that providing debt relief to countries suffering from extreme weather was a matter of urgency. South Africa, along with the Netherlands and Denmark, has launched a $1 billion green hydrogen fund. With this, South Africa wants to set up an ecosystem and export hub for green hydrogen. This is made using renewable energy and without producing greenhouse gas emissions. The nation wants to produce fuel for use in areas including aviation and export. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with Tesla's CEO Elon Musk. This was during the first day of Prime Minister Modi's US state visit. Following the meeting, Musk said that an announcement on Tesla's investment in India could come soon. He said, and I'm quote, "I am confident that Tesla will be in India and will do so as soon as humanly possible." PM Modi will now head to Washington, D.C. Singapore-based Grab Holdings is cutting 1,000 jobs. This is about 11% of its workforce. Reports said that the company was due to announce its biggest layoff since the pandemic yesterday. The firm had laid off over 300 workers in 2020. Grab is Southeast Asia's leading ride-hailing and food delivery company. Warner Brother Discovery has begun laying off people. The cuts will affect about 100 employees. This will impact positions in the Discovery and Turner units. Paula Changong, a senior official at Turner Classic Movies, will also leave as part of the layoffs. The Philippine Central Bank will leave its interest rate unchanged this month at 6.25%. This is according to analysts. Analysts also expect the central bank to hold its rates for the rest of the year. Policymakers are due to meet tomorrow for their June meeting. Financial firm HSBC has lowered its forecast for China's growth this year. It now expects Beijing's GDP to grow by 5.3%. This is a dip from an earlier forecast of a 6.3% rise. HSBC says that the growth will be dragged down by the weakening property sector and tempered business in the region. Financial firm JP Morgan has accused the US Virgin Islands of aiding late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in his criminal activities. It has accused the island of giving Epstein over $300 million in tax incentives. They also allegedly waived sex offender monitoring requirement for him. The bank said this in a court filing. This is part of its defense against a lawsuit filed by the US Virgin Islands over the firm's relationship with Epstein. Reports say Disney's chief diversity officer and senior vice president, Latondra Newton, is leaving. She's stepping down from her role after 6 years. Newton was charged with overseeing the company's commitment to its inclusivity guidelines. She will reportedly join the corporate board of another company. VF Corp, the company that makes Vans sneakers, has appointed Bracken Darrell as its new CEO. He will start in his new role on the 17th of July. Darrell was the former chief executive at computer accessories maker Logitech. Last week, he stepped down as Logitech's head after a 10-year stint with the company. Cigarette maker Philip Morris will launch a new production facility in West Ukraine. It will cost about $30 million. The company says that the facility will create 250 new jobs. It will be operational from next year. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella and video game company Activision Blizzard's chief Bobby Kotick will have to appear in court. This is for a hearing that seeks to block the tech company's $69 billion merger with Activision. The CEOs are among the witnesses planned for the case. The 5-day hearing is set to begin this week. Moving to sports. In cricket, Australia beat England by 2 wickets in the first Test match to surge ahead in the Ashes series. Australian skipper Pat Cummins' unbeaten 44 runs helped Australia chase the target of 282 in the enthralling final day of the match. Cummins' 55-run partnership with tail-ender Nathan Lyon lifted the Aussies to a winner in the English town of Edgbaston. Australia now lead the 5-Test match series 1-0. Zimbabwe beat the Netherlands by 6 wickets in the Cricket World Cup qualifiers. The Netherlands scored an impressive 315 in their 50 overs, but Zimbabwe reigned. The match was held at the Harare Sports Club in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe player Sikandar Raza was on full display with both the bat and the ball. This was the fastest century by a Zimbabwe man in one-day international, as Raja reached his ton in just 54 balls. He also took 4 wickets of 55 runs. Moving to football, Argentina star Messi is expected to make his debut in the Major League Soccer on the 21st of July. Messi will be representing the Inter Miami side in the tournament. Messi's contract with Inter Miami will be worth $50 to $60 million per year. However, he will not be able to sign the contract until his pact with PSG expires sometime in July. The Argentinian star's first game would be against Cruz Azul in the League's Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo scored the winning goal as Portugal beat Iceland 1-0 in the Euro 2024 qualifiers. He became the first men's football player to register 200 international appearances in the game. Ronaldo scored the winning goal in the 89th minute. The 38-year-old global football star was honoured by the Guinness World Records before the match kicked off. France midfielder N'Golo Kante has left the English football club Chelsea after 7 years. The Frenchman has joined Saudi Arabia champions Al Ittihad on a 3-year deal. Kante was a star player of the French squad that won the 2018 FIFA World Cup. He joined Chelsea in 2016 after a high-profile move from Leicester City. In tennis, former world number 2 player Anett Kontaveit has been forced into early retirement owing to a chronic back injury. The 27-year-old Estonian has said that she can no longer compete at the highest level of the game. She will be participating in her final Wimbledon tournament next month. Alexander Zverev defeated Dominic Thiem 6-3, 6-4 at the Halle Open on Tuesday. Before the tournament, Zverev doubted his chances of competing in the western German town of Halle. He said he is too tall for the surface. Now, Zverev will face Canadian Denis Shapovalov today. Moving to badminton, the duo of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty are now the world number 3. They climbed up the ranking table in the men's double category. The pair won the finals of the Indonesia Open to achieve this feat. Paralympic gold medalist Krishna Nagar has won the 2023 Canada Para Badminton International in Ottawa. Nagar defeated England's Jack Shepherd 21-18 and 21-16 to win the finals. The para shuttler currently holds the 6th spot in the world rankings. Moving to snooker, China's national snooker body has issued lifetime bans to 2 players involved in a match-fixing scandal. Snooker is currently under the reel of widespread cheating and other misconduct globally. Most of this involves top Chinese players. The scandal has tarnished the reputation of snooker in China, which also happens to be a hotbed for global snooker talent. In entertainment, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is expanding its collection with new additions. Among the items are over 150 hand-painted animation artworks dating back to 1932. These have been donated by director Steven Spielberg and actor Kate Capshaw are part of the collection. Costumes from the Oscar-winning film Everything Everywhere All at Once have been added. Conceptual art for the sci-fi film E.T. the Extraterrestrial is also part of the updated collection. Actor Robin Wright is set to receive the President's Award at the Karlovy Vary Film Festival. The ceremony will take place on the closing day of the 57th edition of the festival on the 8th of July. A screening of her film The Princess Bride will also be organized for the ceremony. Comedian Trevor Noah has signed a weekly podcast deal with music streaming platform Spotify. It promises to deliver a unique take on the hottest topics of the moment in Noah's signature style. The podcast will be a Spotify original but will also be available on other streaming apps. It is scheduled to debut later this year. Actor Zoe Saldana's film The Absence of Eden has set its world premiere at the Taormina Film Festival. The film is the directorial debut of Saldana's husband and Italian artist Marco Perego. The 69th edition of the festival will take place from the 23rd of June to the 1st of July in Italy's Taormina. International sales rights for the Spanish film Mujeres have been secured. Film production and distribution company More Than Films has bought the rights to the hybrid documentary. It won the Grand Prix and the Best Cinematography Award at the Shanghai International Film Festival. Japanese animation film The First Slam Dunk is set to open New York's Japan Cuts Film Festival. The movie will be making its East Coast premiere with the festival. The First Slam Dunk is Japan's highest grossing film of 2023 so far. A tribute to late Japanese music composer Ryuichi Sakamoto is also scheduled at the festival. Japan Cuts will take place from the 26th of July to the 6th of August. K-pop band BTS's 10th anniversary song, Take 2, has debuted at the _1 spots on various Billboard music charts. It has secured this position on both the Billboard Global 200 and the Billboard Global excluding the US. The single marked the boy band's 7th overall single to hit #1 on the Global 200 chart. Singer Taylor Swift has announced the 2024 international schedule for her Eras tour. She announced a total of 38 overseas dates. She will begin the tour with 4 shows at Japan's Tokyo Dome between the 7th and the 10th of February. The tour will then move to London's Wembley Stadium on the 21st of June. Swift will also tour countries like France, Germany, Singapore and Australia. Singer Niall Horan has signed an exclusive worldwide deal with Universal Music Publishing Group. The news comes on the heels of his 3rd studio album titled The Show. The group will present Horan's past, present and future solo works. Rapper Lil Dicky is going to release new music for the first time in 8 years. The new album will have music from his comedy series Dave. It will be available on streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music later this year. Lil Dicky's last album came out in 2015. Titled Professional Rapper, the album had debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top Rap Albums chart.